Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy XIV. In the last parts, we had dived into the second half of the patch 5.4, where we headed off into a dungeon. We created a mother Porksy and used it to make several other Porksies to give to the Alliance leaders. We helped free the mind of the Kobold leader and opened up and started a path of peace between the Limsa and the Kobolds. We were amidst our having, well, we were in the midst of celebrating, kind of, until we heard word of some towers that appearing all across the world, and the appearance of Lunar Bahamut, and by her, you know, I lost my train of thought. Oh, Fandaniel appeared too. I think it's the last Ascian that's still around. And yeah, lots of stuff happened. I can barely put into words, literally. Onto the breach. Good news, Cecilla. Thancred and Urianger have finished their tour of Garlemald and on their way back, even as we speak. As we still haven't heard anything of the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping that they might shed some light on the things. They're due to arrive any moment now, so let's see what they have to say, eh? Ah, welcoming party. You didn't have to have gone to the trouble. From what I hear, you've been a bit more than busy enough as it is. Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved. Well, if it's any consolation, I myself was a little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alize, Graha, and Cecilla. But I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say we are proud to have rendered what little assistance we could. As you will also have heard, though, it hasn't been all a tales of triumph. Just as we were taking a few steps toward finally addressing the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems landed in our lap. Anyway, it's good to have you back. Although I can't help noticing that we're one Urianger short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you? Oh, I couldn't lose him if I tried. And I did try. Repeatedly. But no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to apprise Raubon and the others of how the land lies in the Garlemald. Then mayhap you can do the same for us. Indeed, it was just as Lee said. Worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Third, however, were notable by their absence. Might they have met their end at the hands of Xenos and Fandaniel? Perhaps, or perhaps they have simply lost the will to fight. You see, the capital has been plunged into a deathly silence, with one exception, the Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but has grown busier still, with throngs of soldiers and civilians working their day and night to rebuild, or rather, transform it. Transform it? Into what? That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is vast and unsettling to behold, like something from a nightmare. According to Urianger, certain aspects of its design were merely devised with manipulation of ether in mind. Magitech, in other words. Yet, as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects, working with nary a word exchanged between them. No one overseeing construction, no one barking orders. It's as if they were possessed or tempered. We wanted to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk. If Fandaniel could bind Bahamut to his will, might he have done the same to the people of Garlemald? Whatever the truth may be, this information is crucial. Well, be sure to save some for Urianger, which reminds me, I have a message from Alamigo. Raubon is hosting a meeting to discuss the latest events in the towers, and he requested our presence. Then why not leave that to us? You must be weary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one of them on the way back, and I'm keen to get to the bottom of this. In that case, I shall stay and begin looking into another matter, as I promised Cryle. We need not all attend. Very well. I suggest the rest of us make our way to Alamigo forthwith. The sooner we leave, the more time we'll have to speak with Urianger before the meeting. Okay. Off we go. Looks like I will be able to finish, get to the end of the story at this rate. I believe the first part of I believe the story that was added in 5.5 wasn't particularly long, so, and the story that what little story was added in 5.55 was even shorter. My friends, much more have I heard of your travails in our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As are we to see you safely return from your mission, Urianger. I trust thinking made you feel welcome. well, if it isn't Alphonse and his merry band. Oh, hello, guy. Haven't seen you in a good bit. Arnvald, whatever are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pro, you told me you'd be away on a mission. And who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough of that, about that. It's good to see you looking so similar. I thought you'd have grown a bit tall after a whole year in another world, but apparently not. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body has hardly aged, as you are well aware. And may I remind you that we Elezen are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great Auroch such as yourself will crane to your neck to meet my eye. It was not until my 20th summer that I myself grew my boyish proportions, though Moenbryda towered over me nonetheless. Arnvald brings out the best in Alphonse, doesn't he? They both seem so at ease in each other's company. It's almost endearing. So, what exactly brings you here? Oh, for Dola, mostly. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Oh, set out? Wait, does this have something to do with the towers? What gave you that impression? Actually, tell me later. You got a meeting to go to. I'll see you afterwards, alright? If Fordola's going with them, that must mean... My apologies. As Arnvald rightly pointed out, we have a meeting to attend. Let's be about it. Alright, let's go check this place out. Let's see what everyone has to talk about.
サンクレット、ウリエンジュ。テートから持ち帰った情報はアラミゴを通じて共有してもらった。敵地への潜入という危険を冒してくれたことに感謝する。
なすべきことをなしただけのこと。聞けばここアラミゴでもアシエンが竜神のまがい者を呼び出し終末をもたらすと宣言したとか。
ああ、自分たちはテロフォロイだと名乗り派手な宣戦布告をして去っていった。しかしその後はというと目立った動きがない。各国それぞれに警戒を強めてはいるものの、ルナ・バハムートも姿を消したままだ。
嵐の前の静けさでしょうか。とはいえ手をこまねいているわけには参りません。我々は各地に出現した塔を終末の塔と名付け調査隊を派遣しました。
私帰還してきた調査隊を出迎えたんだけど、突然彼らが襲いかかってきたんだ。その様子に見覚えがあったからさ。拘束した上でポークシーを使って治療を試みたらみんな正気に戻って。 ンパードにされていたってこと？落ち着いた後、隊員たちに話を聞いたんだけど、塔に近づいたところで方向のような何かが聞こえて、それからの記憶がないって言うんだ。気になるのはそれだけじゃない。彼らは私たちに襲いかかるとき、こう言ったんだ。ガレマール帝国に栄光あれってね。
通常テンパードは神への信仰心を焼き付けられています。しかしこたびの事例ではガレマール帝国への愛国心が刻印されていたと。
報告はもう一つある。先日発生したアマルジャ族の誘拐事件だが、他の種族も同様の被害を受けていることが判明した。しかもどうやらこの拉致騒ぎにも九段の塔が関係しているようなのだ。ドラバニアに現れた終末の塔を監視させていたところ、黒装束に身を包んだ一団が拘束されたイクサル族を連れて塔へと向かう姿を発見した。そこで神殿騎士団を派遣して攻撃。イクサル族を解放しつつ誘拐犯を改めたのだが、帝国製の装備を所持していたことが確認されたのだ。
終末の塔と異種族の誘拐事件、二つの点が帝国軍という線で結ばれたというわけか。
ファダニエルと結託したゼノスが何らかの方法で内戦状態だった帝国軍の残党を束ね、テロフォロイに組み込んだと見るべきであろう。
ドマとも情報を共有しているが、ヒエン殿もまた同じ見立てだと話しておられた。いずれ東方連合と共に東西から帝国を攻撃し講和に持ち込むつもりでいたが、やはり終末の塔への対処こそが先決であろうな。そこでだ、状況を打開するための一手として適性を備えた者たちに協力を要請しておいた。万神のエーテル放射に耐えうる者たちならば、精神汚染されることなく塔を調査することも可能であろう。
ポルドラも調査への参加に同意してくれました。俺たち二人でこの任務に当たらせていただきます。
危険な任務だが、ここで敵の狙いがつかめれば有効な打開策もまた導き出せるはずだ。どうか頼むぞ。
俺の働きが皆の助けになるというのなら、喜んでどこへでも行きますよ。
それでは我々からの報告は以上だ。アレンバルドとフォルドラの両名は準備を整えた後、護衛部隊と合流してくれ。
アレンバルド、君は。
分かってるよ。出立前に話をしよう。
Oh boy. Alright. Let's see. Now that it's out in the open, I don't have to keep it under my proverbial hat anymore.
一応言っておくが、さっきタタルさんに報告は入れたぜ。ラールガーズリーチにいるジャー・モルバとバーマハにもな。
君の志願を咎めるつもりはないよ。だが敵の拠点へ侵入することになるんだ。これまでにない危険な任務だと理解しているね。
目の前に終末を再現するためだっていう塔が現れた。そいつを調査できるのは特殊な力があるものだけ。そしてその力が俺にはあるんだ。今ここで動かないでいたら俺は一生ものの後悔をするだろう。
君は
囚人部隊の兵士にそれを聞くのか？危険な任務に従事する見返りとして除名されているんだぞ。
そんな答えで煙に巻くなよ。今回の任務はラウバウン司令から拒否権を与えられていたろう。
聞けばガレマール帝国は事実上崩壊しているらしい。私たちが絶対だと信じた大国がいとも簡単にな。そして今回の一件を引き起こしたテロフォロイとやらはゼノス様、いやゼノスが率いているという。だから知りたいのさ。終末の塔に何が隠されているのか、自分が何に加担していたのかを見極めるためにな。
ありがとう。覚悟を問いただすようなことをしてすまなかった。
だが実際どこの塔を調査するつもりなんだ？
ギラバニアに出現した塔の周辺には帝国兵らしき者の姿が多数確認されているんだ。だから比較的警備が手薄だと言われているパガル山の塔に向かうつもりさ。
大草原パガル山、あそこはアマルジャ族が支配する土地だが踏み込んで大丈夫なのか？
蛮神対策の一環としてアマルジャ族の動向を探るためパガル山に潜入したことがあるんだ。多少の土地勘もあるから安心してくれ。それじゃあ俺たちはそろそろ行くよ。
ああ、そうだ、アレンバルド。落ち着いたら以前のようにロッホセレコにでも行こう。水泳の上達ぶりを師匠である君に見せたいからね。
そりゃあいいや。お前たちも調査や任務に行くときは気をつけてな。お互い無事でまた会おう。ありがとうな、任務に参加してくれて。
前の作戦ではお前に助けられた。借りを作ったまま死なれちゃ寝覚めが悪い。それだけだ。
頼りにさせてもらうさ。この件にはバハムートを従えた男が関わってるんだろ。そんな奴に出くわしたら俺一人で相手取れるわけないからな。そう悔しいけど今の俺の実力なんてたかが知れている。世界を救った英雄はもちろん、その隣で戦ってきたアルフィノだってすごく強くなってるのにな。今の俺じゃとてもあいつらにはかなわないけどさ。同じ暁の一員として英雄になりたいって、分不相応かもしれないけどそう憧れたこともあるんだ。託された思いに応えるためにも俺だってやってみせるさ。
さて、覚悟を決めて任務に赴いてくれたのだから、あとは仲間を信じるのみだ。終末の塔をアレンバルトたちが調べてくれるなら、我々はルナ・バハムートの方を追うとしよう。
こちらタタルです。聞いてください。エスティニアンさんが見つかりました。ですが、ルナ・バハムートのことをお伝えしたところ、こちらの静止も聞かず立ち去ってしまったのです。ただイシュガルドに行くとおっしゃってましたから、今すぐ向かえば先回りできるはずです。
そういうことなら至急イシュガルドに向かおう。ただそこで見つけられなかった場合も考えてボナンザ号を回しておくよう頼んでもらえるかい？
わかりました。ではでは、私とクルルさんは石の家に戻りますので、無事にとっ捕まえることができるよう頑張ってください。
それなら俺たちも一足先に石の家に戻っておこう。ヤシトラたちに会談の結果を共有しておきたいからな。
かの竜騎士と無事に出会えるよう祈っております。それでは。
All right. How they managed to track down Astinian and find him every time is beyond me. So, Astinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, he must hope they will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there's no time to lose. Alright. All present? Good, let's split up and search for Astinian. Since we're relatively new to this area, Graha and I will look around the open spaces, squares and markets and whatnot. You and Cecil can delve into the nooks and crannies. Very well, let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Astinian. Good luck. I think I should begin disguise suit manufacturing, so perhaps you could try the congregation? The CMA will have heard news of our friend's return. Alright. Let's go head on over there. Appreciate the idea, Warrior of Light. Lord Imric sent word that you would be attending the meeting in Alamiga, so I gather you did not come in search of him. To what then do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I see. No, we were not aware Sir Asinian had returned to Ishgard, but as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Imric, only to find him absent? In any event, I'm afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions have fared better. Well, shit. Looks like those two beat us here.
見当たらないわね。アルフィノからあれやこれやと話を聞かされていたから特徴は掴んでいるつもりだけど。
周りも静かだな。なんといっても青の竜騎士なんだ。現れたら歓声の一つや二つ上がるはず。
あ、
やれやれ。暁の金庫番に出会ったかと思えばこの出迎え。偶然の再会ってわけじゃなさそうだな。まあいいさ。こうして懐かしい顔を見られたんだ。
は
？Oh no, he thinks she's Alphino.
一瞬別人かと思ったぜ。
Oh boy.
随分とたくましい顔つきになったな、アルフィノ。
Uh-oh. This is not gonna end well. Oh boy.
なあ相棒、アルフィノはどうして黙っているんだ？
私はアルフィノじゃない
Look at his face.
頭を撫でるような仲なら私とあいつの違いくらい見抜きなさいよ。大体乙女にたくましい顔とか失礼にも程がないそれに何よやぶから棒に相棒って。私だって強いけど
His face.
彼がエスティニアン。1000年にわたる粒子戦争を終結に導いたもう一人の立役者。ニーズヘックを倒しながらもその怨念の影と化した青の竜騎士。本物だ。すげえ。
I'm surrounded by idiots.
何なんだこいつら。
大丈夫かい？アリゼの叫び声が聞こえたが。
There's Alphino.
エスティニアン殿、やっと会えた。そんなことが。すまない。妹のことまでは話していなかった。
やれやれ、おかげでいらぬ怒りを買ったぜ。とはいえ先に本物と再会していたとて俺は同じ言葉をかけさせてもらっただろうよ。お前前よりもいい顔つきになったな。
もう坊ちゃんなんて呼ばれたくはないからね。
嬉しそうにしちゃってまあアルフィノって兄貴面してくるような相手のこと
昔はすっごく苦手だったのよね。でも今は彼ともアレンバルトともああして話せてる。
Well, you can't keep them on yourself forever. Let's go with this. This is fun. This is funny.
そんなわけないでしょ。やめてよね。アルフィノも変わったんだなって。そういう話よ。
お前たちの事情は分かった。俺はマ大陸までの船を借りようとコートに立ち寄ったんだが。
マ大陸、そうか。かの地にはバハムートと深い縁で結ばれた竜が。
ああ、七大天竜が一翼、ティアマット。かつて菅井たるバハムートを万神として呼び下ろした竜が今なお拘束され続けている。
なるほど。本来の召喚者であるティアマットならルナ・バハムートについて何かを察知している可能性もあるか。
その調査に同行させてもらっても、移動の足には暁の飛空艇を使えばいい。
断る理由はないが、そっちの嬢ちゃんはいいのか。
今度私とアルフィノを間違えたら承知しないからね。すかした態度、聞いてたのと全然違うじゃない。
俺も読んでたのとだいぶ違って感じるが、アルフィノたちがこれだけ信頼を寄せる相手なんだ。この調査で理解し合えるといいな。
All right, we're back here. It's been quite some time since I last set foot in Az's Law, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit. Alas not, we had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied the relevant records, which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of her dealings with her. Well then, Cecil's the person to ask. As far as I know, she's the only one of us who have met Tiamat face to face. Let's just say it helped that Midgard Soma was there to introduce me. Ah yes, you were a friend of her father. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragonson War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wished to know if she had yet harbored thoughts of vengeance, and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago, but the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut burns undimmed. It torments her, even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat has been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own, and I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls to me to watch over her. Oh, aren't you just the caring guardian? Tiamat awaits. This way. God, we haven't seen T-Man since freaking Heaven's Ward. It's been so long. It feels like it's been so long since we were in Heaven's Ward, man. Remember this guy? We used to stand there. We used to be there. That's right. I voiced these, didn't I? Because of the dragon language. My sire's mortal companion would bring thee back to this forsaken place.
あの様子だと何も知らないようだな。相棒、お前の口から説明してやってもらえるか。
That my sins should be repeated. I'm trying to match with her voice, if I can. I sense not the faintest stirring. As to who have called him forth, I know of none save the dragons of Marasidia, our children. The icon claimed their souls when first he manifested, and robbed of their will, they became tools for the Allagan's dark designs.
以前、アラクの高速艦の中で大量のドラゴン族を見たわ。彼らはバハムートの召喚を維持するための装置として夢見るままに保存されていた。
Yes. The dragons of Marasidia are at the mercy of this Ascian. There can be no other explanation. Accursed Ascians! Vile dark meanings of darkness. Again you have profaned the memory of my beloved and strip our children of their freedom, their dignity. Are there no depths to which you will not stoop? She's angry.
そうだな。踏みにじられた尊厳の上にさらに泥を浴びせられるような胸くその悪い話だ。それでティアマットよ、悲劇を紡がれ、ああ悲しいと嘆いてみせて、それでしまいか。
What dost thou have from me, Slayer of Dragons?
メソメソメソメソと。俺はそんな泣き言を聞きに来たわけじゃない。七大天竜として、メラシリアのドラゴンたちの祖として、光竜バハムートのつがいたる暗竜ティアマットとして、お前が何をなさんとするのか、それを確かめに来たんだ。
Were I free, I would answer thine insolence with fire, but words shall have to suffice. Can't she just breathe fire? Recall, mortals, that it was I who did first summon my beloved, praying with all my being to bring him forth. You who contend with icons cannot well be ignorant of this.
あなたもまた万神の祝福を受けている。七大天竜として強大な魂を有するがゆえに理性を保っておられるが、再びバハムートと対峙し、さらなるエーテル放射を浴びれば、おそらくは今度こそ魂の奥深くまで侵食され、傀儡同然になってしまうでしょう。
Indeed. Ask the Dragon Slayer, and he will tell me the power we of the first brood wield. Were I to lose myself to the icon's influence, all would pay the price. But it is of little matter, for even I had the strength to resist, I yet lack the strength to break my shackles. This prison shall be my tomb.
Naruhodo. Bahamut no Tempado. でもそれなら解決できるじゃない。私たちはテンパードの治療法を編み出したの。さすがに七大天竜を癒したことはないけど、理論上は祝福の影響を取り除けるはずよ。
Speakest thou in earnest?
過去に向き合わねば決して前には進めないことを私は知っています。あなたが万神召喚を過ちと感じているなら、今まさに過ちと向き合う時が来たのではないですか。この機会を逃せばあなたの心は永遠に檻の中だ。
Chance to make amends, to lay Bahamut's memory to rest. When our own star faced annihilation, Heidelin granted us sanctuary, and now your foes will bring about her destruction. This I cannot allow. For the debt I owe to Heidelin and to all who have suffered for my sins, I shall fight with you, children of man. Sweet! Oh, he intended this to happen. He intentionally provoked her. Alright, so how are we gonna break the shackles? While proxies have been shown to be effective in curing the temper, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her strengths only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, should we learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition? Do you suppose we can find that information here? Why, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Alleghans kept detailed records on all their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alfredo and Cessa here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Justinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of the star, though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim I know of all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first step towards a brighter future, and now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales of a pot of Tatara's famous tea, and be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water? I think not. I see. We're trying to split into the task at hand then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah, yes, we're familiar with it. The etherochemical research facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this. A spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happen to be carrying around with you? I suppose that would seem rather odd. To explain, Rambros, Urianger, and I have researched the use of spirit vessels in the transference not only of memories but of the traits that have certain bloodlines. And so I can keep one ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its uses to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, and having identified me as being a royal blood, and armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try at least. Agreed. We'll take good care of it. To the flagship then. Alright. Up, 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 and up we go! God, this thing's massive. Have I ever mentioned this flagship reminds me of the Bahamut? I think that's what it's called. The Bahamut from Final Fantasy XII. The big giant airship that appeared at the end. Let's split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find an unlikely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It will not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relevant node or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we shall reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. Alright. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Levers? Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Alright, that tells me absolutely nothing. Data link with data quadrant broken. Possible cause, interior interference. Revised deployment of automated combat units. Proceed? That didn't help me either. Warning, scheduled Dragon restrict maintenance due in 2,020 years. Failure to verify system material may result in unscheduled specimen release. That sounds promising. I'm afraid Cindy and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? I smell like burned hair. Yeah, it's a chirping note which spontaneously warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints. Spontaneous, you say? Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the note of which Graha spoke. And it was chirruping, you say? Very well, let's take a closer look. Chirruping? I don't even know how you say that word. It's not chirping, that's for damn sure. Do you wish to operate the Dragon Restraint mechanisms? You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the Dragon Restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by chief technologists and members of the royal family. Or those of the vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. I often know the Valier. Oh man. You know what? It's our vessel. Me. I'm of royal blood. Welcome, Cecil Rai. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanism when ready. Error. Unable to disengage the restraints of the specimen Tiamat. A system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it's asking of us? I could hazard it, I guess. Smash it to pieces. Well, that's more than I can say. Confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. The station can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located on the within the flagship. So, can this thing release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it has received the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. I'm here to help, rest assured that, and I'll be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. How gratifying, but I dare say we'll fare better with guidance than without it. It's an excitable node, apparently. Alright. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please. What could go wrong? Oops. No! Alright. Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently playing software version 56.135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? So I software version 42.002, of course. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time required for update 5 years and 1 day. Good lord. Your download speed needs an upgrade. That is a rather long we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? Instead, for instance, using this terminal to operate T-Mat's restraints instead? The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update. My instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much. As long as we pay due attention to the discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made progress. That's that cold steel all over again. Where technological marvels are like lost on people. Hang on. I'm refreshing my page, that's why the eye is bugging out. Come on. Come on, game. Or page. Load up. Okay. I would say so, yes. It does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link once I'm ready to release the shackles. It might be best that you left the spirit vessel with me. I may have yet use for it. Rest assured, I will be certain to return to Gra Hatia once this is over. Just a little more work and T-Man will be free. But before we go any further, there's something I would know. When T-Man and her kingdom fought against the Algan Empire, both sides were dancing to the tune of the Ascians. It was the same with Ishgard, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Ascians touch turns to ash, and thus you have made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? Will you try to reach out to him too? I mean, the man's got no reasons. I will try, yes, but if that fails, I'll remember him. I see little point of reasoning with the wretch, or remembering him for that matter. Audio's like not very happy. That's crackling. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be but the faintest glimmer. I hope that you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise of viewing the world thus? Far from it. That was ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship willing to wish you had dealt the killing blow. So, save mercy for those who deserve it. Words of wisdom. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphinaud has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. Alright. Alright, Alize, we're ready to go. How do you fare over here? Estinian told me all is well, but nothing else, nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alphinaud's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Well, that all sounds rather frustrating, but you got there in the end. While you were talking to Nodes, Graha and I were learning as much as we could about T-Man's condition. Our readings confirmed that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. The difficulty lies in the sheer quantity of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning I'll need all the ether I can get. Thank you in advance. Although the Sindera will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic. Namely that Tiamat shows no sign of fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. Tiamat saw Baham as an equal rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to proof. And tell Alphinaud to discount the restraints of ethereal dampers. I'm counting you, Angelo. Such warmth. The frost that shroudeth my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alleg. Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be the process of restoring our souls to its pre-tempered state has awakened the ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Setsa, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you what of times past. Tell me about Bahamut and the Asians. Bahamut, my beloved, would that the peace we found in Mericidia could have lasted for eternity. But alas, it was not to be. The Asians saw to that. In all creation, I know of none more wicked. It was at their behest that the men of Alec first came unto Mericidia, unto our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing and searched for a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land that would come to be known as Mericidia by the children of men, though many years were passed before they crossed the sea. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates to the writings of the Charlatan scholar Rurusha. She possessed that men first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era. Correctly, it would appear. If only she were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. When first the children of man arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held dominion, such as their fear of dragonkind, and as they kept a distance, so did we let them be. Yet, as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren who divided the vast land amongst themselves. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem, and soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife, until one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede in their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Interesting. Alas, those golden days of harmony, too, were fated to end. For the men of the Alex slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Asians. The rest thou knowest only too well. But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you're free, we'll rid the world of the Asians together, and you and your blood will have justice. You're right. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watching from above. If the treatment fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear when this is over. Keep going, Alize. The magic is working. Well, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. No patient could have prepared me for treating the great worm. Or we're close. I can feel it. And while I've got a few more drops of ether left to give, with yours and Grahan's will work, then I believe I speak for both of us when I say that you take as much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. Alright, here I go. Let's see if this works.
れで最後よ。行きなさいアンジェロ。
Es ließ an, Unglück es sei.
やったの？
確かめるには拘束具を解くしかない。それで何の影響も出なければ。現存するメラシリアのドラゴン族の多くがアラグの秘術を受け肉体に手を加えられているはずだ。そうでないものならば治療できるだろうが。
My children. Forgot to read the first bit. So gross. Should you hearken unto my call, we shall fly together once more. But should you not, I shall grant you peace. Better to die than live as a tool of evil. You too would wish this, I know. And I shall do as I must.
Please,
その時は私も一緒に戦わせて。あなたの悲しみを知った者として一人にはできないわ。
Thou hast my gratitude, little one. Alright. Moment of truth. Let's see if this works. Drums are rolling.
さあ、頼んだぜ。どんな結果になるか試してみようじゃないか。
Bahamut, my beloved. For vengeance and atonement, I rise. Hey, it worked. Yay.
なんて美しい姿。
ウリエンジか。ああ、そろそろ合流できると思うが。わかった。すぐに向かう。大草原パガル山でルナ・バハムートが目撃されたそうだ。報告によればドラゴン族を含む軍勢を引き連れアマルジャ最大の都市の方へと進軍しているらしい。
Uh-oh.
聞こえたな。お前は仲間たちと合流しろ。俺はこいつと一緒に動く。 おあつらい向きの状況じゃないか。お前も行くだろう。
Look at this man. All right. Justinian's got himself a pretty massive mount. Oh, I'm sure you're desperate to rejoin Justinian and Tiamat in battle. It would be wise to gather the full strength of the Scions first. The foe we face demands no less.